Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another recording session. Well, no, not recording session, just recording of Hearthstone. We're halfway through a recording session. I need to win 2 games with Druid and Rogue, or at least 1 more game with Rogue, and then win 3 games between Rogue and Warrior, so that's what we will be working on today. So right now, it's only Rogue until we get 1 more Rogue victory. So, well, right around Thanksgiving, in fact this is Thanksgiving weekend that I'm recording this, there's literally nothing gonna come on TV. I will fight with honor. So I have no good argument there to distract myself from recording. I'm hoping to make some real progress. After I do Hitman Absolution is Dishonored. After Dishonored, I think games have come out. I don't think there are going to be, at least until January, any new games of any real worth mentioning coming out. And then, as we start hitting January, February, March, there will be a few games, but maybe not as many as I think or hope, perhaps. It's an interesting question, and it kind of all just matters on if things really come out or if things get delayed. 2016 is still pretty much set to have a ton of video games get released, so there's a very good chance that almost every month there will be something coming out. I'm about to get to the Black Friday sale, so that would be my opportunity if I want to try and have a Valentine's Day month. If I just want to go heavy on if I want to heavily invest on romance stories. The problem there would be I have to figure out some AAA game to play that has romance if it's going to be involved. Otherwise, I'm just going to play some other AAA game, which I guess that would be fine too. Either one works fine. Dishonored would probably get in the way of Valentine's Day anyways, so that might work quite well. And then let's see what. That's when the real questions start to happen. Are what is the next step? What is the next thing I'm gonna
Here we go.
need to do or get? This is an interesting choice I'm making here, so I can save my mana. Oh man, I didn't even do it right. I was trying to summon this one after this one attacked.
Scurvy dog.
No, whatever. I should be fine still.
Reporting for duty.
I think I'm pretty well set. There is the small independent title question. That's still in the world. Yeah, I'm screwing this up completely. But I think I'm gonna win anyway. Here we go. 4, 3, 5,
Here
2.
we go.
All I gotta do is 1 more damage. I think I can pull that off. Yeah, it's the problem with indie games is they just come out when they come out. At best. I mean, there are some games that are early access, but if they're early access, it seems like more games are early access because they just don't want to have a finished product by the time they're selling it than anything else. So I may very well run out of independent games just because I can't find anything. Alright, so all I need to do is 1 damage. So it really isn't that difficult a choice here. Just kill this with that. We could bring that out. We could bring this out. All of it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna win. No matter what. So, yeah, as I'm thinking about, now I can start playing Warrior, too, as I'm thinking about, like, the time slots to independent games is a big question. We have our independent game time slot, we have our point-click adventure game, which that will eventually run out. Telltale games are eventually going to run out, but not... It's not anytime soon. At least it doesn't feel like it. Either one of those slots could potentially get replaced quite easily, actually, with a longer RPG playthrough like Borderlands, and then eventually getting replaced with a even longer RPG run through like Skyrim. There is definitely some trepidation, I think, there if I did have the Hearthstone series come out and a RPG, and then our main AAA title slot happened to be an RPG too. I think Skyrim, Fallout, Bethesda games in general kind of stand on their own more than being like regular other RPGs. But there's definitely some Final Fantasy games out there that I could be playing. I'm not sure what number I'd start with. I think I'd probably just start with 13. That seems like, I think that's the most popular one. So if I was gonna do Final Fantasy, I'd do 13 and then all the spin-offs of 13 and then maybe try to work both directions around the older games. Maybe do everything up to 13 in the 2 old series, and let's see. Play this, and I could do +1 attack, but that really wouldn't happen. I'll just end this here. So I have a slight concern about the independent games. I have a slight concern about the point-and-click adventure games. The AAA titles, and then the mature slot, the TVMA, the slot after Hearthstone, where I want to make sure if something is really not kid friendly, that if there's a game like that, that game is always in the right place.
Ready to flee.
I've mostly not had to or done that, but things like The Witcher 3 probably should have been in the 7 o'clock slot when they weren't. But then things like Contrast, which I thought was going to be more mature in theme, really wasn't. Let's see.
Try this. Back to work.
So, yeah, I haven't done a lot of it, but it's not like you could really on YouTube play the super adult mature games anyways. So it is, you're kind of in the middle there. And it is definitely true that Steam just doesn't carry those type of titles. Not really. There's one news story of one romance place that is gonna have actual, like, uncensored sex scenes. I think they'll be uncensored. They might be censored, but they'd still be in there, which is a lot more than anything else. And that's kind of the weirdness about all the romance stories that are on Steam, is because you know they have to completely, absolutely not have anything in them as far as sex goes. So you're already kind of in this
Watch this.
PG-13 world that you normally wouldn't be in if I was just... Well, I guess in video games itself you're already kind of in a PG-13 world. There's only a handful of things that were ever released to the console or on PC that would do that. Not on through any market I've paid any attention to or seen. I've also thought about, like, there are some Scum VM point and click adventure games that just remember, like, Scum VM is a like emulator type thing. It's not, I don't think, well, yeah, I think it is an emulator actually. The point is you run this program and then it can run a bunch of games that wouldn't be able to run themselves otherwise because they're DOS games. I could always go back and play those. That would be an interesting question, whether people want to watch those, because they're very old, and because they're very old, they do not look good. I mean, they just are not. They're going to be tiny little 8x8 pixel characters. They have some good story, and I cover them, but, you know, maybe not. And with the Day of the Tentacle being remastered and re-released, there is some small hope that would get fixed, but it's not a lot of help for a lot of games, because a lot of games are... I'm just gonna leave this where it is. But like the Indiana Jones games are not going to get re-released or remade. I just don't see that being on Disney's Disney's time to do that. So that's always a back of the mind thing I could do for the point click adventures, or I can just change that whole slot. If I happen in the Black Friday sale to get a series that now we can take this out. Do I want to kill somebody else, or do I want to bring out a weapon? Let's go ahead and kill this one. Job done. Let's see, that would have done 5 damage and 8 still need quite a bit more though. I don't know what other publisher would come out. I've been keeping my eyes open very much for Black Friday sales, both as far as electronics. For my channel, I could certainly use a second video card. I could certainly use hard drives. I don't think I'm gonna get really lucky and be able to get a capture card
We
or
must cleanse the sunwell.
or better microphone equipment or a soundboard or anything like that. That all seems unrealistically specific for Black Friday. And without getting a capture card, I still might get a console, like a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, since I don't have those, but I can't record until they have a capture card, and there is a lot of question as to whether any of those are going to be on ridiculous amounts of sales. They're going to be like $50 off, or there's going to be a bundle that gives you an extra game you didn't want anyways. So, yeah, I'm not really thinking that way. But I'm going to keep my eyes out. Unfortunately, as far as Steam never gives you any indication at all that what's going to go on sale. Pretty much everything's going to go on sale. So the real question is, what can I find? How much is going to be off? The Lego series is one series that I've looked at, and I'm not sure there's going to be a full-on bundle for all of those, but I might just start grabbing it. It would make a lot of sense if I grabbed the Star Wars Legos game. To have an entire series with the phrase Star Wars and Legos is pretty cool. I mean, that's gonna hopefully get some search results. People looking for those things, and maybe that will draw in a crowd and get some new viewers. So that would be one in particular, and if I just hit the Star Wars series, the Lego Star Wars series, the Lego Batman series, the Lego Indiana Jones series, you're covering major franchises there that now when somebody types in those phrases, I'll be somewhere at the bottom of those search results. Whereas right now I'm not anywhere in those search results. Rightfully so, I'll probably be at the bottom because most people that type in Star Wars aren't going to want to see a video game review of the Star Wars Lego game, but if somebody types in Star Wars Lego, then my videos should come up high in the search results. So that's, in general, a series. It would be ironic because then the Telltale game series time slot might get very well replaced with the Traveler's Tales time slot, which is the two companies I always get confused and mixed together.
Here we go.
So that would be one just in general thing I'm gonna have my eyes open for. Lots of games. If I can get Shadow of Mordor, that was a very popular game that I didn't play and is a little bit older, so that would be about anything before Shadow of Mordor probably will be on sale enough that they would be some interest. If I could get Fallout 4 for real cheap, that would be great, but that's not realistic. That is highly unlikely that that would happen.
Feed the fish.
Here we go.
Same is true for any game. If I could get pre-orders of games that were coming out on Black Friday, that would be great. If they're gonna give me 50% or more off a pre-order for a new game, that would set me really nicely. That would be a great investment, And accounting-wise, that might be slightly helpful
What
to
you
spend money in
want?
1 year and potentially earn money off of that spend in the second year. Of course, right now, as far as accounting and buying games, I'm not writing those off anyways. I think that would probably be a mistake. Well, actually, it probably will get to the point where you're writing off video games, and technically you can write it off. But the
Here we go.
better thing almost certainly is to take the standard deduction instead of itemized deductions, which is what writing things off usually means. Because the standard deduction for most individuals is like $9,000–10,000. I would be very hard pressed to spend $9,000–10,000 on video games alone, and or getting any of it. In fact, unless you're living very specifically, standard deduction often is easier and helpful. But the way you have to do it is you basically have to itemize your deductions first and take a look at it and see if it beats the standard deduction. And sometimes a lot of times it can be real close, one way or the other.
So many options.
So that's your free tax advice from somebody who probably shouldn't be giving you, who you probably shouldn't listen to for tax advice. Actually, I love to do taxes and help people with it. It's just I'm not a CPA or anything, so. But it is a weird system. Basically, taxes are just a video game, so once you learn the rules, once you learn the tricks, that's what it is all about. It's a game of saving as much money as possible. Yeah, but I'm not sure what else is going to happen. I'm not even 100% certain that there is going to be a Black Friday Steam sale. Which, if there isn't one, I guess that's fine. The summer sale is the big one, is what I heard. So maybe the Black Friday one won't even be that good.
Quickly.
Ideally, for my channel, it would be helpful if just there was always cash in my pocket to buy games when they came out. You know what? I'm just gonna kill this guy so he's enraged. Excuse me, but I developed a little bit of a cough after being sick that still needs to be sorted out. There was one thing I realized I needed to purchase for myself, is I needed to have cough drops just always at the ready as a YouTuber. Coughing, losing your voice, you cannot have that happen. As a video game YouTube creator, I need my fingers working, and I need myself to be generally healthy, and I want not to be coughing or anything like that.
What you got there?
Here we go.
Take this guy out.
Job's done.
So yes, I'm going to have cough drops always at the ready. Of course, I have a problem with cough drops is that I'm impatient, so I'll chew on them. When they're medicated candy, that's the exact wrong thing to do. It's supposed to dissolve it, not chew on it. But I always chew on hard candy and probably hurt my teeth in the process. So I'm probably not very smart about doing that. Oh don't know how to finish this. Let's see. This.
Here we go.
This. Great victory. Got lucky with that poison. I'll probably still do that, but I'm glad to be getting a victory anyway. Guess we'll just stick with Rogue since that one won. One of the things that has is starting to see it is very far off in the distance, I will admit it. But one of the things that I'm starting to realize is there is actually kind of a limited selection of PC games that still play on PC. Because I did play PC games a long time ago on like DOS and Windows 3.1 games, Windows 95 games, but almost none of those stand up to the test of time or would play at all. So when I look at it from that perspective, it's kind of like, well, there is a limited amount. Now, maybe, almost certainly, the amount of games available to play is way more than the amount of time I could ever spend to record all of them. That is kind of, without question, the case. But the question is, are the games that are worth playing more than the amount of time I have to play them? And will there be enough new games coming out that are worth playing? Because eventually it will get to the point where I'm playing new games regardless of whether they're good or bad or I've heard anything about them at all. Because that's what a critic would do. Right now, when I play an old game, I'm still being a critic 100%, but I'm also being a nostalgic critic in the sense that I'm playing things I know for a fact I enjoyed.
Here we go.
And it's kind of unlikely I'll go back and play an old game I liked before and then I'll just have a completely different reaction. I might have a slightly different reaction. I might have a more matured reaction to an old game I liked, but I doubt I would come back and just totally hate it. I would be very confused if that happened. But yes, eventually I will get to just eventually I will just get to play brand new games, and when those brand new games come out, that'll be it. Now, of course, there's things I could do. I could play a game a second time. I could play Skyrim or games like that non-stop, even though I've already done all the main story. I could play Borderlands again, type stuff, which is the same thing. This, and then this.
The pirate's code.
Here we go.
Guess I'll just kill this character.
What you looking at?
I could have less time slots too. Right now, 5 times a week, I'm releasing 5. Let's see, hit this guy in the face, hit this guy in the face, and play this.
Blood and plunder.
Here we go.
So yeah, there's ways to mitigate that, and it very well might. Well, it's not likely to happen, but it might get to the point where there's only one video a day coming out, and it is the newest game. Ideally, that would be after my channel has grown a lot, and I have a lot of fans, and people are willing to watch me cover games that aren't particularly their most interested game ever. How am I gonna do this?
Scurvy dog.
Here we go.
Go ahead and take this guy out. And should I take this guy out is the real question. So I have 8 plus that is 11. So if I can do one head crack,
One shot, one
maybe that will win.
for Najata.
What a silly move. Interesting. Right. This. Nothing's gonna save me.
Scurvy dog.
Here we go.
Job's done.
Salty dog. South Sea
Sorry
Captain.
about that.
Yeah, so it may come very well up and
The
be
gates
the
are open.
case that Black Friday turns out to be a bust, which is kind of fine. I'd like to be able to save my money. I'd like to be able to just put it into a savings account and say that's fine. It doesn't help my channel any to do that. Not one bit does that help my channel. But it is something I would like to do, dude. To just be a little bit more diversified in my portfolio, if you might say. Because there's no selling my Steam account, really. If I fill it with thousands of games that I cover, I can't turn around and sell that and make anywhere near the amount of money I spent to get
I
going.
will fight with honor.
Watch your
In fact, I'm pretty sure it's against the Steam rules to sell a Steam account. That would only make sense. So having things for normal things like medical care and food and mortgage payments and bills and just paying the internet bill to make sure I can upload is all very good stuff to also have money for. But that's not right now. I still need more games, particularly since we've run into the problem of both the Tomb Raider collection and the Hitman collection being full of really old games that shouldn't be covered right now. Games that should be covered is the Portal Stories Mel, which is a mod, and I think I want to cover that pretty soon. Probably won't be anytime really soon, but I do want to cover it at some point. Portal Stories Mel, I watched someone else play it, and boy, would I like another Portal game. Valve is in such a weird quagmire. They just need to release Half-Life 3 and be done with it. Just Half-Life 3, Portal 3, and And what? Left 4 Dead 3 or let's see. What was some other ones? Team Fortress 3. The point is they never make a game. They always make these planned trilogies. Well, Portal 2 was not a planned trilogy in any way because Portal was a surprise hit and they came out with Portal 2 to continue on that, and they kind of ended the story now. So if they wanted to get away with saying the next Portal game is called Portal Shell's Story or something like that, that kind of would be okay with me. The same way that the mod is called Portal Mel's Story. It's just, why not? Just say this isn't the number 3 thought. And they certainly did that with Half-Life, because there's Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 2 several other things. I think inherently too also there's a problem with their engine. What is their engine called? It's not called Cryotech, that's the Crysis engine. It's not the Cry engine, that's the Crysis engine. It's called...
Want a deal?
Scurvy dog.
Well, I can't remember right now what the name of the engine is. It very well may just be called the Half-Life engine or something like that. And I think it was a fine engine, and for a long time a lot of people were making mods and playing on that. Gary's mod notably and all that, but I think it's very much for a first-person shooter engine. I think maybe Unreal 4 can handle games like that better. I think if they got Unreal Engine 4 programmers in Valve, that would help twofold, because it would get new blood that was actually interested in making a game in Valve. And I think a big portion of the problem is, which is a problem that we're gonna see more and more of, is that people like Gabe Newell were great programmers like 10 years ago, and then they got to be the CEOs of company, and as soon as they became CEOs of company, they started sliding as far as their time to program, thus their skill to program was not staying ahead of the curve. And so I think they want to program. I don't think they can program. I think they can be great story writers and concept things and managers and let other people program it, but they really need, all the companies need, are new programmers with new ideas, fresh out of college, who know the newest version of programming languages. And so, in the same way, where I'm sure Gabe Newell would say, let's use our engine, I would go in there and say, no, we're going to use the Unreal Engine. We're going to make Portal 3. It's going to look way better than our engine could do. It's going to work with our physics way better than we even realized was possible, which might not be the case. Actually, the physics part of Valve's engine still might be the best engine out there. It's very possible. And Unreal Engine might very well not handle it at all. But I think they still need to learn it. They still need to make other kinds of games. Half-Life and Portal are completely based around physics, whereas Team Fortress 2 and Left 4 Dead are both just first-person shooters, stuff that probably should be in Unreal. I think that will work fine. Also, I think this episode will work fine. This is where we're gonna leave it. We still need to get 2 more victories for Rogue and Warrior. So we will come back next recording and hopefully get that done. Otherwise, I may just do it offline. Anywho, that's gonna be it for this episode. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me, which would be greatly appreciated, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it and make a donation. And if you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.